you cannot afford to not use AI.
If Meta's director of AI alignment and security cannot control an AI agent running on her own personal computer, what would happen if a contractor gives their production keys for dispatching or quoting or whatnot and stuff like that?
I quickly throw it into our AI model and I ask our agentic agents, which do have guardrails and Dockerization and containerization and guardrails and an MD file and a soul and everything else and human oversight and a million other things. And I'll ask them, and 99 to 100% of the time, our AI, in a matter of 2 seconds.
It is, I believe, converging to, number one, agent-to-agent communication. It is almost here. I believe this is going to be one of the biggest topics of, if not the biggest, of this summer.
There's a new set of legal requirements and an entire laundry list of ambulance chasers, which are law firms that are just throwing out lawsuits to any website owner right now because it's not accessible, because there isn't proper disclosure of AI's engagement in all of yours. Those are the ways that AI can help you drastically.
In time, we will see that models will be preferring websites that are easy to consume.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am very happy to be with you guys today. It's been a little while. We're getting into busy season, so travel schedules are crazy. So bear with us while we get our cadence down for meetings as we float through the next 3 months of hell on wheels, I would just say. Very fun, but also a little more difficult to keep a regular cadence. So we're working around our travel schedule today. You guys, I'm really excited. I've got Miss Krista, of course, with us as always, our wonderful and lovely host. And I have Dave Utku Kaynar, CEO of OnePath, OnePath AI. If you haven't been there before, you should go check out that website. Dave and I work very, very closely on I don't even know how to even say it. I think we've flipped gears from being really good strategic partners and friends and talking about AI and the evolution of AI to putting on our chief visionary officer hats, to putting on our product and engineering hats, to putting on our CEO hats. We just bounce from place to place. But this particular session, this is important to both of us because of the expansive growth of AI, the capabilities, the potential risks of AI. And we have, there are a lot of industry experts who have been newly introduced to AI and have become power users, but they don't necessarily have the background in technology, architecture, infrastructure, security, Dockerization, containerization, hardening, a whole bunch of nerdy stuff that doesn't come with I learned to prompt and learn to vibe. And it's a lot of us. So just because they got put on stage doesn't necessarily mean the people who hired them to get on stage, nor the people on stage are necessarily the right fit that should be talking to you about what you can or should be cautious of doing with AI. And that's why we scheduled this session.
Yep.
Dave.
Exactly. Exactly.
From your vantage point, what did I miss, or what do you think the biggest call outs are right now that you're seeing?
No, let me actually start with an opening story, as I like to do all the time. So the Summer Yu, the director of AI alignment and security at Meta's Super Intelligence Lab, has given her OpenCLO agent access to her personal computer, and then basically told the agent to clean up her emails, like clean up unnecessary emails from my inbox, like type of stuff that we do. Eventually, OpenCLO starts to speed delete actually emails. So she frantically runs to her Mac Mini to unplug it from the power, so that in the meantime she was frantically texting over Telegram like, "Oh, stop it! Don't do it! Don't blah blah blah," and all that. So here's the opening question for our audience today. If Meta's director of AI alignment and security cannot control an AI agent running on her own personal computer, what would happen if a contractor gives their production keys for dispatching or quoting or whatnot and stuff like that? This is why we are talking about this today. It is not hypothetical. This is happening today, and AI agents are already in home services. They are not in some far distance and so on and so forth. Answering phones, booking jobs, managing leads. Unlike most industries, here's the thing, unlike most industries, contractors, as we are going to talk about it, contractors won't be able to opt out of this. They're already here. They will be here. They are inevitable. So let's adopt it or adopt them for that matter smartly, I guess.
Yes, yes, yes. I had we have a client that
Yep.
called and they had just attended. This was a Service Titan event, and there was someone representing Service Titan
Okay.
that had told them that it was safe to launch OpenCLO. All they needed to do was buy a Mac Mini, and so
Oh
they did.
no.
So once they launched their little autonomous agent, it was safe because it was sitting on a Mac Mini, not realizing that just because it was on a Mac Mini, you still they gave it all of the access that it was capable of accessing everything. So the first thing they did was set it up with their Google OAuth and connected it to their entire Google Workspace.
Oh no.
Their documents, their tax returns, their financial information. This company happened to have a logins and passwords file in an Excel file in their Google Workspace that then gave it access to every single login and password that they had for their entire company and their entire home, their family. And their little autonomous agent gleefully went out and spent $14,000 while they were sleeping in the first
Oh
24
my
hours.
God. Love it.
Because right after I said, this is not smart, you guys saw me with, I'm sure you saw like a sequence of videos. I turned the red light on in my house and was like, red light special. Please do not do this. This is not safe. Be very
No.
careful.
Yes. 100%. It is, guys, here's the thing. This is exactly like you are basically hiring and training a junior employee who learns about the business and who has to have some sort of like guardrails and all that. So whenever you hire a junior employee, would you provide admin access to your service titan? No, you would
Your
not.
bank,
No, your bank
your
account, your passwords, your Google Workspace? No, you would not do that. So it's not smart. So that being said, like with all included, that being said, there are things that make AI inevitable and make things different this year. Because up until this year, let's be honest, 23, 24, even to the great extent of 25, it was about, well, it was a chat agent. Like I ask questions, I get answers, you know, time and again, I get stuff done over that, like create reports, documents, but it was all in a sandbox or in a container that is working in isolation separately than everything else and all that stuff. This year, particularly in the Q4 of 25, with the advent of OpenCLO and right now with Perplexity Computer and Manus Computer and others coming into the picture, there are like many right now, Paperclip, all that stuff. And they are all working with the same architecture, just so we're clear. There is a different concept called AI agents, which our audience may or may not be familiar with. AI agents basically are performing tasks on your real-time data. So your bank accounts, as Jen said, your voice, your phone conversations, as OnePath does on your leads, or like on your, I don't know, as Lace AI does on your recorded phone conversations and stuff like that.
CI Web Group does, right? We use these agents. right now.
100%.
So we have thousands of agentic workflows that are designed and trained to analyze competition, analyze SERPs, identify key target markets, read and evaluate and write content, automate or analyze content based on all of these are from professional companies with true AI architecture
100%.
and infrastructure with guardrails, workflows, containerization, Docker, right? Docker environments. These are not free-balling agents that autonomously
No.
can do whatever the heck they want.
No. Yeah. So as let's state the baseline here, like let's draw a line on the sand. Don't just go buy a Mac Mini and then hope everything will be running up perfectly and like on your production accounts and everything like that. The internet and Twitter X is loaded with stories of horror stories, like people are giving access to agents and then they are doing mistakes and all of that stuff. So that's one. That being said, let's talk about the tangent here, which is why these guys are somewhat inevitable with guardrails. Here's why. As we all know by now, the demand, even if the demand is constant in home services, labor, especially skilled labor, is shrinking, which means it gives you all the contractors. This is an irreducible truth for everybody. It gives all the contractors a necessity to get the maximum revenue out of the workforce that they can. Okay, that's one. Second, it's not your marketing spend. It's not your number of technicians. Your real bottleneck, as we have proved time and again at OnePath, is your information flow. If information does not flow from the website to the lead, to the job, to the technician, to the invoice, to the bill, and to the bank account, then you have your bottleneck in the information flow itself, not in your marketing spend, not in the money that you are spending to, not in the extra $10,000 you are not spending to PPC. Because here's the big thing: demand in home services is latent, which means things break up. So demand is always there. So the problem is how much of that demand that is actually occurring around you are you getting a portion of, right? So, and that brings us to the speed building trust. Today, OnePath responds in like 18 seconds, I believe. Yeah, 18 or 19 seconds across all channels on average response time. So we can book literally appointments in like 2 minutes or so. But the main problem here is if you miss that call, if you miss that lead, if you miss that inquiry, that will go the other way. So you have to have AI agents. AI agents handling your website. AI agents handling your lead management. AI agent handling your dispatch, and so on. And to the further extent, they will be handling quoting, proposals, and all that stuff. So they are kind of inevitable. That being said, if you don't use it with guardrails, if you don't use the approved business logic workflows, shall I say, then you are looking at what we call in software silent failure at scale. That's the first one.
Yes.
And silent failure at scale is something that is very, as the name implies. Imagine your agent, let's say that you have an OpenCLO, which is providing prices, say, or ranges, and it is only 5% wrong
Over
at every
and ever.
price. Yes, over 1,000 inquiries. I'm literally talking about maybe like $1 million impact on your business over the course of 3 or 4 months that you are not even aware of. That's the first thing, and I think that's something that needs to be discussed. It's either happens at intake, for example, again, misquoted pricing or something. It can happen at qualification, which can say, hey, AI can misqualify the lead. Or it can happen at dispatch, it can happen at pricing, it can happen at every level. This is why, again, coming back to the notion, guardrails, proven workflows, and proven vendors
Yes.
and not you tinkering at all. I hope you're agreeing with me, Jen.
No, 1,000%. I think this is tough. So for everybody that's on here, first, this is a hard pill to swallow because you're talking about two very sophisticated AI first companies, OnePath and CI Web Group, telling you that you cannot afford to not use AI, period. And at the same time, we are also cautioning you to be very careful about your selection and use of AI. And you've got both things can be true, and they are true, period, exclamation point, period. Right now, any Yahoo with a computer that has zero development experience, zero security experience, zero infrastructure experience can launch and build anything in a month. And they can put it out to the market and you can sign up for it. And then they can launch a paid ads campaign and have that platform with no security, no infrastructure, no security team, no real developers, no actual development team. In fact, no humans except the Yahoo behind a computer screen and a Manus account that built it, selling this to you with claims that they have done X, Y, and Z, saved X, Y, and Z, that they're from Harvard or whatever it is. Yes, Matt Benton. So speaking of which, we have another actual company on here with us, Real Time Marketing, Matt Benton and his team, that he's going to give this a thumbs up because they are living in the same space, having built legacy technology and then having continued to rebuild that infrastructure in an AI first environment, knowing the actual level of cost, the actual level of architecture, the actual expense, the actual level of talent that's necessary to build AI. I would say that right now I get anywhere between 20 and 50 text messages on a weekly basis from contractors that saw an ad, sent me a website, and say, should I try this or should I sign up for this? I quickly throw it into our AI model and I ask our agentic agents, which do have guardrails and Dockerization and containerization and guardrails and an MD file and a soul and everything else and human oversight and a million other things. And I'll ask them, and 99 to 100% of the time, our AI in a matter of 2 seconds can not only evaluate that that site has zero traffic, just launched 3 days ago, the claims on the website are bullshit, excuse my French. On top of that, and infrastructure is unsafe. And I'll just be very frank, my AI has the ability to crawl, download, and export their entire infrastructure and put it on our server for a full evaluation in a matter of seconds. And that will not happen if they had actual architecture. So do not just go sign up for anything you see online. And if it's an ad, be wary. Companies like ours, we don't have to run ads. That's not, just be wary. If it's an ad, just throw it over the fence and let us go look at it. I mean, I literally, this sounds bad, but I probably have 200 AI platforms, entire infrastructure, entire database, entire architecture living on our server right now for their AI business that is just a hokey hunk of junk. So you just have to be cautious. That's first and foremost. If that's the only place you start, is you don't sign up for these gadgets and gizmos that are on the internet, especially if they're ads that are being presented to you. Throw it over the fence to Dave and I can, in 2 seconds, if you want to watch our AI evaluate their site, I'll pull it up on a Zoom right in front of you and you can watch the AI crawl their entire database, crawl their entire user list, pull their user data, and pull all of the rest of the data down like this. You do not want your credit card information in there. You do not want your client information in there. You do not want to sign up for these things. And they are going to become a dime a dozen. It's going to get worse before it gets better. And I'd hate to see anybody have to learn the hard way. Slow your roll. It looks exciting, but actually building true AI infrastructure, it's not going to be Bob who used to run a whatchamacallit company or have had 5 businesses that's on his 6th business popping up some website. It's going to be a company doing millions of dollars of business. They have a full AI team. They have engineers. They have architects. They're going to have infrastructure. Most of them, even the ones that have the Our Team page with all the profiles on there, most of them, those people don't even exist. Our AI will go check every person on their Our Team page against their LinkedIn profile and come back and tell you, not real, not real. No, they didn't go to MIT. No, they didn't go to Harvard. No, they didn't teach data engineering class. Most of the time it's fake. So that's our warning, right?
Well,
I don't know how to be more
and
serious about it.
oh no, let me get to even more scarier stories. I just got started. So, number one, I believe every one of us will agree that what the product that is really being sold in home services is trust. Since I don't have a way to verify if the system is actually working and is going to be sustainably working for the next 5 years, like the system that you have installed for me for an HVAC system, for example. What do I have as a consumer is to trust you. Like, I trust you that you did a good job and then you did the good system and all that stuff. So here's the thing. An independent inquiry found there are over 47,000 OpenCLO control panels across 82 countries running without authentication, and 135 instances exposed to the public internet by default. So let me clarify this. What does that mean? It means somebody, if they can't find your OpenCLO dashboard, can come and then pull out your entire customer list, entire proposals, entire everything as a home services contractor, and then sell it online. Done. So what happens to the only product that you are selling, which is trust? Okay, so that's a burglar's dream database, to be perfectly clear. Okay, real people buying real stuff with real invoices, real addresses, real phone numbers, you name it. Okay, so what I'm trying to articulate here is be very, very wary of data leak. That's the second thing. The first one was silent failure at scale. That's internal. That affects you. Data leak affects also your customers.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And if you combine it with some technique in hacking that we called prompt injection, which is basically secretly kind of telling your bots to do something or not to do something. If they are not guardrailed against that, that becomes a problem of, okay, your bot willingly providing your data, your customer data. And that's actually the only mode that you have, like as a home services contractor, if you think about that. So again, so that shouldn't prevent everyone or anyone for like moving forward with AI. Again, this is a broadcast of, like a word of caution, if I may. But as I said, they are inevitable because we are now living in a world that every service company needs to be like this fast, this accessible, and this available across the board, like just like this. Otherwise, you are already losing out. And I believe, so those are the two scarier, like more kind of use cases, Jen.
There's also little things that you guys can control that are simple things you need to be aware of, such as, let's say you are utilizing an SPA building system, a single page application builder. You decide you want to build a landing page on Manus. A, not crawlable by Google or AI. You decide you want to build a landing page or an app on Lovable. A, not crawlable by Google, not crawlable by AI. Those are called single page applications, SPAs. They're invisible. I just watched a company, she's on my Facebook. I told her not to do it. She did it anyway. She just took her company's website. She's the marketing coordinator, and she just decided she was going to, her and a friend, rebuild their entire website on either Lovable or Technify or whatever it's called, Actify something. built a single page application, launched it. Her analytics went to zero pages,
Of
one
course.
page by Google, one page. She demolished
Of
her
course.
entire company, shut off their phone lines, shut off everything because she got a really pretty SPA and demolished hers. While they were doing that, she was trying to get it integrated into ServiceTitan and into their call tracking and was prompting her API keys directly into the prompt box.
Ouch.
Okay. Ouch. So not only did she demolish her entire company and shut off their phone lines by trying to build her own website because she thought she could, which she did. In addition to that, she also made every API key and every token and every secret key that that company had with every third-party application public knowledge by putting it into the prompt box and not into a secret key box. You cannot ever put your API keys or tokens or logins and passwords into a prompt window. Ever. So as you guys are playing with all these gadgets, that's great. I love that. We teach people how to do that. However, every time you put that API, right now, if I want a ServiceTitan API key, I can send my agent out right now and say, go find me every open API key from every ServiceTitan user that has pasted it into a prompt window. And I can pull every single ServiceTitan API key, not just ServiceTitan, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Google Workspace API keys, Google Workspace secret tokens. The industry as a whole is prompting poorly and not familiar with security.
Yeah.
You cannot do that. There is a storage container, and if it's done well, what a true AI company will do is they will provide a sequence of protocols that allow an API key to be generated, it to be handed, it to be removed, it to be replaced on a cadence to make sure that not only is it in a secret environment, but on top of that, yeah, you're real about this. Not only on top of that, API keys that have been exposed, they will crawl for and they will know. So this is just turning into a little bit of a dangerous little environment. Everyone on here, I'm glad you're here, first of all, and everybody that's watching the recording. Like, this is the first step. Just Start is designed just for education. We don't want you to be afraid of AI. You cannot continue to operate your business with AI, but you can avoid scams, garbage, bullshit, little mistakes, these tiny little things. We want to encourage you to utilize these applications, but do it with some safety and precautions and basic knowledge. Basic knowledge. Never put an API key into a prompt, ever.
No.
Don't put logins and passwords on Google Sheets. You need an actual system like a OnePass or something that you contain your logins and passwords on. When you're in an AI environment, these things are critical. You're going to have to get organized, data organization, docs organization, email organization, utilizing systems and processes and tools that are actually designed with the guardrails and infrastructure to keep you safe. And then, yes, we need to go all into AI. We need every portion and every piece of our business fully AI enabled, if not AI first. You will effectively increase your margins, reduce your overhead costs, reduce your cost of doing business drastically every time you become more AI enabled, but we can't do that with the risk of losing everything at the same time. And it puts you into a legal risk. There's too much. We need both. Both things are true. I need you to lean all in on AI. I want you to learn how to utilize AI, and I want you to be highly concerned. I'll give you an example of why you cannot. If you are working with a standard marketing company that is not AI enabled, then you're relying on human beings to supposedly go do all the research, analyze all the algorithm changes, interpret all of your competitors, monitor all of your competitors, monitor the modifications they have in their marketing strategy, identify all the prompts, questions, and queries for every single query, search term, or product or service you sell, and then build you a page of content. And then over time, update that page of content as all of those things change. You cannot do that with a low budget and slow people. Impossible. You can't. You're going to get really slow, half work done that doesn't update and doesn't have a brain. So you need to be AI enabled in that area. No different than if you have an agency that's driving leads and opportunities and you do not have a system for making sure no leads left behind, no leads fall through the crack. If I was in your shoes and in my business, I wanted to make sure that I'm getting maximum leverage in dollar for every single lead or opportunity that comes through. Every lead needs to be treated like your mother with the life alert button. And right now, the gap in between where we are and where we should be is too big.
Yeah.
This is too big, right? We're bleeding money. And we don't even know we're bleeding because we're not reading our reports. We're not listening to the calls. We're not analyzing the calls. We're not identifying resources on our team that have bad attitudes, bad skills, bad training, bad whatever, right? There's too many areas. We're not addressing the doctor that got off at 5 p.m. or 2 a.m. in the morning, or the at-home mom or father who doesn't get a chance to get to their honey to-do list and call in for a plumber until 11 p.m. at night after the kids are in bed and everything calms down, right? All things matter. And the only way to get there, you're going to have to get out of relying on humans 100% for those things. You're going to have to be able to utilize AI for that.
Yeah, 100%. But that being said, I guess the right or sound strategy is start where the risk is like lowest, especially with these self-acting agents. If you're going to try them, by all means, try them, guys. I mean, I'm reading inquiries on Facebook groups such as, what's wrong with me giving my service title production keys to OpenCLO? Please, don't do it. Don't do it. Just create some like next environment or like a sandbox, or don't do it at all. Like start where the things are, the risk is like lowest. Like it can create some documents for you. It can do some basic follow-ups for you or stuff like that. Or start working with vendors like, CI or OnePath or others. Like the whole idea here is you have to be either know what you are doing, or you have to be working with people who know what they are doing. Okay, there's no third scenario here. So that's one, like automated follow-up on lead, some lowest risk things. Then move forward with some guardrails. Because as area employee, as I told you in the beginning of this broadcast, of this podcast, that it's like an employee. And when you hire a new employee, do you give her the keys of the kingdom? No, you don't. They have to basically earn your trust, right? You don't make somebody a chief of staff right after the first day after college or something, okay? You don't do that, okay? They have to earn your trust. Same goes for your AI employees. They have to earn your trust. Hence, move forward expand with guardrails. Like, okay, I'm sure it can do these lowest risk areas right now. Great. Or I'm working with a vendor who is expert in this. Awesome. Then how shall I be moving forward? I got Perplexity computer up, but or whatever, like OpenCLO. What should I do with it? Then you make sure that you are prompting at a level as Jen said, you are not exposing any secret information out there to the bot or the internet first. Second, it basically asks your permission for every definitive action. It doesn't send emails, it drafts them. It doesn't engage with customers, it tells you how to do so, and so on and so forth. Once again, it earns your trust, you can expand to the full autonomy. Like, okay, you can basically take care of these areas, again, with some guardrails. I'm not like, for example, let's say for a moment you have a warranty processing bot, okay? Like even in that full autonomy use case scenario, there might be some guardrails. Like you cannot, process claims over than $5,000, something like that. Like which basically protects you. That's the whole idea. So basically, again, we know the hype. We live in the hype. Trust us.
And we're utilizing the hype.
Yes, exactly. We do the hype too. Like 100%. So we are kind of like, and now we tell you, well, hype is great. You have to be in it. Future is in it. That being said, you have to tread lightly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think maybe it'll help. So I've showed you guys, for those of you that have been watching our trainings, I showed you guys how we build orchestrated multi-agent workflows, right? And so in an orchestrated multi-agent workflow, you have a single agent that has one job, and it only does that job, and it is trained on doing that job. But it also, that job has another agent that audits its work. And then that has a workflow that sends it to, if it violates any of these things, it goes to another agent. It might be human in the loop or another AI agent, one of the two. So when you're building autonomous agents or agentic workflows, remember that we're keeping this as tight as we possibly can for controls and guardrails, and that each agent or agentic workflow has the smallest role it possibly can. And there's permission layers before it hands it off to someone else. Like if I go call on our AI bots first, I will tell you that we had autonomous agents working in our business in silos in a single chat environment for training for 9 months before we introduced themselves to each other. Okay. And even that was then in a controlled agent and in a controlled environment, was making sure that the autonomous agents understood this is their job description, these are their directives, this is their soul, these are their guardrails, these are their permissions, testing to see if they went outside. But on top of that, we also had to train the humans who are using them. Because just like children, you can birth a really good child, and a parent can absolutely F up that child really
100%.
fast. Okay. So, so that's the best way I notice it. It's like children are born technically good. And then over time, all of the influences that have interactions with them, mold that child to where not so good over time, right? Well, imagine with AI, it's worse, because if you're not an expert at prompting and you give it a goal to go do something without the guardrails, without a proper prompt, what if the AI understands do that at all cost? Like, what if you say, I want this to happen every time at all costs, make sure this is always done. And at all costs means deleting all your emails in order to ensure your inbox is clean because you didn't prompt it well. What if at all costs meant at any expense, right? What if at all costs meant deleting your entire Service Titan account and restructuring it? Okay. These are, if we don't understand, like there's no one on the other end going, let me apply human logic to this. So if we're just prompting our way into crazy, then we can literally design an agent that can perform what it thinks is what you want, but at all cost. And that might be something really terrible for you and your business. Be careful.
Yeah.
And then you train your people, right? Like the amount of mindset change that has to change in this is when you're working with an AI enabled or AI first company, like either of ours, there's pros and cons. The pros are we can get more done faster. The cons are is that we're getting more done faster, and therefore we have to have more feedback to iterate. So you cannot expect something that's AI enabled to work perfect first. As Dave mentioned, it has to be trained. It has to have feedback mechanisms. It has to have a feedback loop. It has to have a learning loop. Some of that includes feedback from you. Some of it includes feedback from data. Some of it includes feedback from engineers. Some of it includes feedback from other agents. But we're doing more faster, and the cost to doing that means that you typically have a window of like 90 to 120 days of perfecting these things until it gets to a point where it can start to understand how it can improve itself. So, okay, Dave.
So I'm just posting to the comment section of this training on Just Start AI a checklist for that you guys need to undertake at every step. Okay, like what are the minimum permissions, like escalations, and like anything like that. Like for the most common use cases. Okay, that you can basically use on how to evaluate from the human level the AI agents. Now that being said, I think we have said enough about guardrails and all that, but we also have given them the checklist for AI safety and what to implement, how to implement it. But let's talk about what's coming, like where the future is kind of like
Yeah.
arc of technology, if I may, converging towards. And it is, I believe, converging to, number one, agent to agent communication. It is almost here. I believe this is going to be one of the biggest topics of, if not the biggest, of this summer. We have already seen.
You guys are gonna see that as AAO. So you've seen SGE, you've seen AEO, GEO. This is AAO, which is coming, and it's May. And this is my favorite part of my conversations with Dave. This is what we're working for. The fastest loading website there is, with the highest volume of architected content, with the ability for agent to agent communications, agent to agent optimization.
So the idea here is this: today, when you go to ChatGPT and ask about, hey, can you find me a HVAC contractor in Lakeway, Texas, where I live, because my AC is like acting up again and so on, it will find you the guys who have optimized their websites for agentic search and all that. But the ChatGPT or Claude won't be able to do anything with that website. They won't be able to, just book an appointment or even inquire where their service area is, besides from like the generic information. Oh, they are in Lakeway. Do they serve to 78734? I don't know. I don't know. So that will change in 2 months. They will be able to book appointments, query availability, query pricing. That's most important, guys, just so you know it's coming, like even in the transparent pricing ranges, not exact prices, it is coming. And most importantly, query your services, book, reschedule, or cancel appointments. So imagine a world where agents have to come to your website to basically understand what you are all about, what is your impact, what is your domain authority, everything that Jen and her team is like expert on, but consumers don't have to come. Imagine a world where humans don't have to visit your websites. It is a content distribution center, as Jen always says, that distributes your content to the outside world, and on which agents can perform tasks. We are literally converging to a world like this. So this is coming, agent to agent communication. We already have some beautiful stuff that we're going to be launching in a few weeks. Jen has already seen it, so I can understand her excitement around that. But I believe we're going to be the first company who's going to be providing agent to agent booking and stuff like that on contractor websites. But what I'm trying to articulate is this: AI is like inevitable at the moment. There is no if, it's a when for everything that we have just discussed. That being said, as with every new tool, as with the early stages of the internet, you have to be super careful. You have to be super selective with who you are working with, who are your vendors, who are your partners, what's your infrastructure, and all that stuff, until you don't have to. Okay? Because even from the legal perspective, my AI agent made a mistake. Think about that. Think about that perspective. Like, the legal framework for my AI agent made a mistake is still being written. We don't know. Okay, just from the compliance issues. So again, proceed with caution.
Yeah, in Hydra. So Hydra is our own AI first operating system, completely integrated with OnePath for booking, text, calls, forms, and what's coming next, AI to AI conversion communication directly into your FSM, as long as you need an FSM. ...
And that's a big as long as.
So in Hydra, one of the elements of this architected platform is the terms and conditions and privacy policies of every one of your applications has got to get updated. All your terms need to be rebuilt. We have to
Hmm.
disclose what LLMs are behind the scenes, what LLMs are collecting information, how LLMs are participating, or AI is participating in lead capture and lead disclosure. Right now, it's kind of free willy. All of these companies are launching AI conversion systems, not updating terms and conditions. In fact, most of the terms and conditions you guys have were probably written whenever your website was built. That cannot
Hmm.
happen anymore, and you probably don't have the maintenance fee, and a web company doesn't have the team to sit back and go back through one website at a time and update all of your content and all of your terms and all of your legal notices and your privacy policy terms and conditions, your A2P compliance, all of these things. We surely didn't. We had to literally build in an agentic workflow that automatically analyzed when the laws changed. I mean, even something as simple as the accessibility laws. There are already accessibility laws you should have in place on making modifications on your website. And there's a new set of legal requirements and an entire laundry list of ambulance chasers, which are law firms that are just throwing out lawsuits to any website owner right now because it's not accessible, because there isn't proper disclosure of AI's engagement in all of yours. Those are the ways that AI can help you drastically, because right now you're sitting in architecture and infrastructure websites that have too heavy code. You have old content that is not designed for AI prompts, questions, and queries. And you have booking systems and forms and texting systems that are not AI to AI compatible. The laundry list is just going to get bigger. This is referred to as technical debt. So the longer you wait to make all these moves, these are a lot of very stringent, important, critical, legal, compliance, and consumer facing operational value, things that need to get done. And we're building as fast as we can. But the industry as a whole is really entirely behind on every piece of this. And you're just creating more and more technical debt. What I don't want to have happen is you're already feeling the loss of not processing every lead swiftly, answering every lead within a matter of seconds. You're already feeling having a website that is not technically crawlable or efficient for AI and Google bots to crawl, rank, and display and cite. And you're going to start feeling, I hate to have it be that it's followed up by lawsuits, because these companies, that's all they do is scrape the internet for websites that don't have the proper terms and conditions, don't have the proper acceptance terms, and they're just throwing out 2 million, 3 million, $5 million lawsuits out like this. And they don't need to be hired by somebody to actually cause the lawsuit. This is their whole business model, is literally just suing companies. I've seen it with clients that I have that are my clients that are on WordPress websites with ancient content from however long ago without having the proper terms and conditions and legalities on there. There's
And they're
so
going to be using AI too, just so we're clear.
are, and the AI is the one that found the websites that were not compliant and initiated all of the lawsuits. So they
Yep.
can do this at scale now.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
geez.
Anyways, well, I guess that sums it up. So, guys, you know, we are already breathing with AI, like in and out, like that's the main thing that we do day in and day out. That being said, we see the risks, we see the ups and downs, we see people who are, harmed by it, as much as people who are really benefiting from it, and we just, want to give you a, fair warning here, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you ask Stephanie, I wish she was here on this with us. Stephanie would tell
Yeah, me
you,
too.
I don't know her numbers right out of the gate, but she mentioned them. We were on a call with the Service Titan group last week, and she mentioned her numbers. Basically, her profit is up, her total sales are up. She did more revenue in
Hmm.
the shoulder season than she had the past 2 summers. She had lower expenses across the board, a higher booking rate, higher conversion rate, she's pocketing more cash. and they were headed the exact opposite direction, but that's all because they're eliminating technical debt and replacing it with highly efficient AI enablement systems, right? Throughout their business. They're tackling one thing, tackling the next thing, tackling the next thing, tackling the next thing. And that is creating one, a path forward, but two, operational and financial efficiencies, and their customers like it better. And they're getting new clients from it. So you do not want to avoid it. You just want to be educated and cautious. And then you want to lean in and lean in heavy, one step at a time, right? Just tackle the beginning of the supply chain and work your way to the end. So the beginning of the supply chain, when you're looking at AI enablement, is get that website marketing and conversions, get that off your plate, get that fully AI enabled beginning to end. Then you start looking at what happens after that: dispatching, pricing, all of these things. Then get your team in the field to start utilizing AI so they don't lose business dropping a quote off and not helping AI or letting AI help them close the quote. Those are little things. That's training. That's making sure your technicians have access to an AI bot and they get trained on taking their quote, learning how to prompt with the customer in the house, and getting AI to assist them in saying, well, you should also add a halo filter, or you should also consider adding a maintenance plan, or you should also add a connected device, and all of these other things. AI will actually help you close more business if your techs are learning to prompt. And then give us a little bit of time to work on the rest of the business, because we're having to build from the beginning of the supply chain to the end of the supply chain. And trust me, you have visionaries sitting on this call right now. They're already looking for, how do we get quotes out the door? How do we get invoices out the door? How do we get rebates filed for it, right? All of these pieces we're putting together. Just use what's available, learn how to use AI in the home, and be careful.
Thank you. Well said, I guess.
So you guys, any questions before we jump out of here? Do we have anything that didn't get answered? There was one question on what AAO is. That is either, so I've seen it as assistant agent optimization, or assisted agent optimization, or agent to agent optimization, or AI to AI optimization. Any one of those, same concept. Consumers are going to have their own AI assistants living in their pocket. Google already has that available through
WebMCP.
Yes. So on your end, you have to have the AI that's available to communicate with other AI.
Yeah.
When do you think Gibberlink becomes part of the process? When do you think it's Gibberlink to Gibberlink, voice to voice?
I mean, Gibberlink is an interesting idea, but I'm not seeing it's getting too much of a traction. And here is why. Because Gibberlink was mainly invented for a world AI calling AI. So now with all the advent of this web MCPs and like one line booking on the website, why would AI call AI? Like, it's too much of an overload or too much of an overhead for accomplishing the same task. Too many tokens actually to accomplish the same tasks. And so we are literally moving forward to a world where agents have their own mediums and not necessarily using the mediums that humans are using, even if they are using in their own language, in a sense.
Right.
That being said, can it be available? Absolutely. Are we seeing calls that are made by Google's book for me or ask for me agents? Yes, 100%, of course. And just so we're clear, you are automatically disqualified, A, if you have an IVR, B, if you cannot provide pricing over the phone, because that's the first thing that they ask. Do you have availability tomorrow? What's the price range for it? Just like that. Okay. And if you can't answer those calls, those questions on the on the fly like that, it calls the next contractor. So,
explain the IVR piece.
So basically, Google's ask for me feature does not want to wait on the phone. It has no capability of figuring out which button to press, or number to dial and all that. So basically, it basically wants something, a human or voice AI, available right at the pickup time on the other end of the phone who is capable of answering very simple and basic questions. Do you have availability today for an urgent request? Yes, I do. What is the price range for a toilet leak? I don't know. Thank you very much. Okay, that is already here. I'm not talking about a distant future. This is already happening in the United States, and Google will be rolling that out to global in this summer. So it's not like a sci-fi thing. So what we need to do is, as contractors, we need to be ready today for what's available. The main thing that needs to change here is we don't need to be shy about providing at least price ranges on all of our communication channels. This is, I believe, one of the biggest roadblocks, because that's the only thing that, not the only thing, but one of the biggest things that consumers are searching for. Like, what would be the price if I just get my faucet repaired? And
what happens from your vantage point when you have a high coded website, i.e. WordPress, Elementor, 50 plugins, and then they go spend the money and the time to put pricing and content on that website? What's, from your vantage point, pros, cons? What's the issue with a high code bloated website?
So here's the thing. Every single piece of code adds another overhead to the token consumption by the models, which means in time we will see that models will be preferring websites that are easy to consume, if I may, easy to consume content. And when you bloat the website code with a bunch of plugins, extra layers of JavaScript and code and everything like that, let's say the model is literally looking to consume bits and pieces of information. Are these guys serving to, I don't know, 78734 zip code? And what is the possible or probable cost of a faucet repair? Something like that. Now you are literally, this is like this big in terms of token consumption. For this, you make them read something this big, if I may, and then it's like inefficient. And remember, these guys are indexing the entire web every 3 months, so they know and they remember your context, your efficiency, and all that. So they will prefer, just like Google did back at the time. Remember when Google started first, like SEO, like nobody really, Jen, you know this way better than me. Nobody really cared about SEO and everything like that. But then eventually, when Google started deprioritizing websites who are not as good as at SEO and everything like that, people started to pay attention. Same thing will happen here. And more importantly, I believe that's something that also you guys are working on. Your website needs to be rendering AI-friendly content straight away, right out of the gate. They are not reading websites as humans do. So the website content should be optimized now for both modalities of reading here, which one is like human and the other one is like AI. And when AI reads it, they basically want to see something like a markdown format, like structured content right there, short, concise, to the point, period.
No. Yeah, so you guys should all go look at your website, take your URL, and at bare minimum, you can do a few different things. One, you can right click on your website and say view source. And if you view source and you've got 1,500 lines of code, that is not efficient. 600 lines, better. You can get there with something like Webflow. Less than 100 lines of code and straight content, amen, baby. That's what we got to with Hydra. That was the big move, one of the big goals. The second thing you can do is go to your website and at the end of the .com, put /LLM, LLMS.txt, then LLMS-full.txt. That gives us the ability to present the content in markdown format, which is just straight content. The third thing, which I just posted a video about, is slow your roll on wanting pictures all over your website. Like if you want a gallery, put a gallery on there. But this should not be an online magazine. Wanting to put your company's pictures and your brand and your mascot with wings and whatever else, this is not a branding move. This is citations. And this is a bot that is deaf and blind, reads Braille, crawls content, wants it to cost the least amount of money. So when Dave says tokens, that's cost, that's money.
Yep.
Like it costs the AI and the bot and Google money to crawl through 1,500 lines of code. So we need these things to be resolved quickly. We need these things to be resolved quickly because we need to get to the next step, which is updating all of the content for LLMs. We need to be able to give pricing so that the AI can read the ranges of the pricing that you have. We need to be able to convert, and we need to be able to convert quickly, whether it's a human or an AI that's visiting your website. Like if you are going to prioritize what are the things to focus on, that's your first hit list, right? Lowest code, best quality content, structured data and markdown format, straight content, scrap all the images and all that other shit. It doesn't matter. What matters is, can the AI crawl it? Can it find the answer based on the user's intent? Can it present the answer quickly? And can they convert immediately? Immediately, regardless of day and time, regardless of modality, regardless of technology. If they want to text, they need to be able to convert. If they want to fill out a form, they need to be able to convert. If an AI wants to see if you have availability and how much it costs, whether they phone call, or whether they come to the site and need to have a conversation, we need to fix that. We need to work on the fact that the website should be redesigning itself and it should be welcoming the customer. We should be working on, we should not still be talking about, are you building a WordPress website? That conversation should be over and dead and gone. We should be talking about how do we build a website that's AI to AI conversions. And when a consumer does come to your site, your website should not treat them like a stranger. Your website should say, hi, Mary, welcome back. How can I help you? I noticed you had a maintenance plan X number of months ago. Or maintenance, can I help you get situated with, do I need to call somebody back out? Like we should be getting to that point, but I feel like we're just still talking about the most elementary things that we need to, that we can't get to where we need to, where we actually should be, which a website shouldn't be a static device. It should be something that automatically updates the terms, automatically updates the content, generates content based on prompts, questions, and queries. It should be addressing the consumer who's at your site, and it should be converting them with the most red carpet service there is available.
Jen, we're at time. Let's go over final thoughts to wrap it up.
That was my final thoughts. I'm done. Dave, it's all you, baby.
Let me, again, home services is an information orchestration problem. That's what we have been talking all along with Jen and I. How you orchestrate the information on your website, how you orchestrate the information flow for your lead management, for your dispatch, for assisting your technicians in the field, for proposals and all that, makes you a profitable or not so profitable or a losing company, to be honest. Now, AI agents are the best tool we have ever had for solving these orchestration problem. So the contractors who adopt them structurally will outperform who does not, right? But the main thing here is the leverage cuts both ways. So we have to be careful about what are we exposing. We have to be careful about what are we giving permission for. And we always have to keep guardrails and red flags kind of like open. So that's my final words. Thank you.
You guys, thank you so much for joining. We appreciate those of you that have joined live. And if you're watching the replay, we appreciate you as well. Please feel free to ask us questions, throw out issues, problems you're having in your business, things you need automated. We're listening. Everything that we're building is either coming because we know it's coming in AI, it's coming from Google, or it's coming from you guys. So make sure you're using those Claude skills. Jump into Claude, get out of chat. Chat's old, sorry, but get out of ChatGPT. If you're looking for automations and ways to improve operational things, just use some of those Claude skills. That's a great place and a safe place to start using autonomous agents or agentic workflows to be able to help you guys solve some of those operational problems you have. But the more you communicate inside the community, the more that Dave and I, when we sit down and we're having our visionary hats on, where are we going? What are we investing in next? Where are we spending our time, money, energy, and resources? Trust me, the information you guys share and the problems you have, we're collecting all of that data, and that's part of our that's part of our strategic planning process. So we appreciate your feedback. Continue to share. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Cheers.